NC State's campus started in 1887 as just one building, Holiday Hall. We have been growing ever since, always evolving to simultaneously honor our history and traditions while also meeting the needs of students, faculty, and staff as they change over the years. There have been quite a few changes recently thanks to the efforts of the Think and Do the Extraordinary campaign.
One of the most exciting things that has happened to NC State and the state of North Carolina is a continued growth in the economy of the state, and particularly the region. And it's really driving us to think differently about the workforce that our university produces. And so for the first time in a number of years, we're actually intentionally looking at growing our enrollment, particularly in some of the science and technology and engineering fields that are so critical to the continued economic development of the state. And that really has us thinking about the future of our campus in really meaningful and deep ways, because if you add 4,000 students to this campus, that's a lot of new sections of chemistry. That's a hefty number of students in science and engineering. So we have to continue to be thoughtful about the way we build out campus. And the vision, of course, is really to build out campus in a way that continues to support the faculty and staff and generates the economic prosperity that North Carolina expects out of NC State University.
My office leads campus planning for the entire campus, and I say lead because we don't do any planning, especially on large projects, without multiple stakeholders from across campus. My office is also responsible for site design and architectural design guidance and oversight.
Each decision Lisa's office makes is guided by the Physical Master Plan, a living document created by the campus through a continuous effort to center student success.
The Physical Master Plan is an incredible tool that gives NC State the opportunity to re-examine campus development for the next 10 to 20 years and also prioritize short-term and long-term project goals. It's really an extension of the university's strategic plan that guides campus development.
Lisa's team and the Physical Master Plan task forces began reaching out to the community through pop-up and virtual events, soliciting feedback on how the PAC uses campus infrastructure. The group even shared an interactive map, giving people the opportunity to show how they travel around campus. This provided essential data to inform the work they do, making future and current pathways and infrastructure work best for an ever-growing, diverse, and active community.
Having state-of-the-art facilities hugely impacts our community. Just thinking about the last 10 years, how teaching has evolved, teaching pedagogy, the hybrid classroom, team-based teaching. We can't do that in older facilities.
When we launched the last strategic plan, we were intentional in making the success of our students the #1 priority, to enhance their experience on our campus.
Investing in infrastructure that leads to more student success is important to our donors and to our state. Many of our recent infrastructure updates have been completed because of a split funding model, with the state funding half of the project if Wolfpack donors fund the other half.
I think the legislature has been inspired by NC State's alumni and friends' commitment to helping us transform this campus. And as a result, we're getting maybe more projects than we might otherwise receive, but there's an expectation to raise money, and thankfully we've been able to do that. The state has been very generous to get us halfway home on those projects, and they've been equally generous in making sure that once the project is complete, that we have the resources we need to maintain the infrastructure that we built on our campus. I think about what we've done and how it reflects on the values of the state and our values as an institution. First and foremost, it's about the success of our faculty and our students.
The conversations for renovating the D.H. Hill Junior Library started in, I believe it was like 2017. And the real impetus was to try to bring together academic support services into one space. And most importantly, one space that students frequently traffic and they go by in the sort of natural ecosystem of their lives, and that is really easy for them to find and really present in the lives of students. So things like tutoring center, things like the writing center, things like career counseling, undergraduate research, obviously library support, all kind of embedded. And then it pretty quickly came together, like we want to bring all those things together, and the library is an obvious place for that to happen.
The most recent renovation of D.H. Hill Junior Library preserved much of the original structure while also opening up the space. By reopening the entrance off of Hillsborough Street and freeing a few floors from book stacks, D.H. Hill Jr. is more conducive to collaboration, technology, and access to resources like the Academic Success Center.
Yeah, I think the renovated spaces have really changed the way we engage students, because old libraries, like towers that were built in the 1970s, were built for books and not for people.
It's definitely like more modernized. Like it kind of gives me more of like a Hunt kind of feel. Just because like, you know, you have like the really slick marble and it looks really nice. But at the same time, like you still have the rest of D.H. Hill that kind of gives it that like homey library feeling. So I feel like it's a nice like mixture between the two.
I think it's awesome because it really invites students to be in the libraries. It's now a space where it caters to how everyone learns, whether you need to have more technology around you or whether you need complete quiet. There's a space for every type of learner, so I really appreciate it.
Since the students have come back to campus in full, we've seen an increase in use of both the Academic Success Center and the Hill Library, which was the whole goal. And we're pretty confident that all of that will relate to student success metrics and the progress towards degrees for all of our students.
There's the Academic Success Center, the Innovation Studio. There's also the Makerspace and the Virtual Reality Studio. Like there's just so many things packed into one. Well, it's a pretty big building, but like there's just so many things that you can do and a lot of like avenues to like really explore.
My favorite part has recently been the data experience lab. I've done some of my homework in there, and using it's just been very easy. Just, I don't know, the computers are very nice and just it's just spacious to work, but it's also like I kind of like a little bit of noise. Like I don't like it too quiet, so it's like there are some people working like in groups, so it's like it's a nice balance, but it's also very like a lot of processing power that I need for doing my homework. I just can be very productive there.
My favorite space is the Visualization Studio because of the kind of things that we can do in there. We have the virtual Martin Luther King exhibit. We can transport people to the Beaux-Arts Tapestry in France. We can just conduct all kinds of experiential virtual learning opportunities. We bring over 1,000 students into the Visualization Studio every semester.
I really enjoy the Academic Success Center. It's a place where, you know, a lot of our student workers are, and it's a place of collaboration and learning really what you're here to do at State. It's a great space.
We used a mix of funding, right, to pull off a project like this, which is pretty typical of university projects. There's some facilities and administrative funding, there's some state appropriated funding, and then there's some private philanthropy, which helped give us the extra edge to make this the kind of space that NC State libraries are known for, which are exceptional, world-class leading spaces that are really attractive and beneficial for students. Our vision for the future of NC State libraries is to be the competitive advantage for the university. We've really emphasized that for the last 25 years, but that's a moving target. And our whole goal is to contribute to student success holistically. Things like affordability, things like their progress towards degree, but also making sure our students are well equipped for when they graduate from NC State. So providing them 21st century skills in things like data science, virtual reality, 3D printing, making, entrepreneurship, the kinds of creative, skill-based learning that can enhance their degree that they get, their main degree, but also sort of set their resumes apart. So when they go to graduate school, they enter the workforce. NC State students are the most sought after students.
Providing experiences that make our graduates stand out isn't just a mission of NC State libraries. All of our colleges and programs are striving to be leaders in their field. For the College of Engineering, a new building was just the start.
Our ultimate goal is to be one of the most preeminent colleges of engineering in the country and the world. Back in around 2008, 2009, there were legislative funds that had been appropriated to really start the design of what were known as the last two engineering buildings, Engineering 4 and Engineering 5. But around that time, we had a recession, there were a lot of economic challenges, and everything had to be put on hold for a number of years. The question was then how to make a Fitzwillard Hall happen. But the only way we could make this happen is we had to create a different paradigm. A paradigm where state funding would be leveraged with philanthropy. And so that's what really led to what is today Fitzwillard Hall. Fitz and Woolard are two engineering alumni, Ed Fitz and Ed Woolard, who made a major donation, $25 million commitment that really catalyzed the philanthropic effort for Fitzwillard Hall, and the state matched that through the bond referendum to be able to make this happen. On the second floor of this building, there is a donor wall. And on that wall, there are 300 plus names of alumni and family and friends, all of whom made commitments that helped us build this building. I'm very proud, extremely proud that we had so many alumni and friends step up to help us with this, but I think it really reflects what went into making this a reality.
There was literally a gap between Hunt Library and the engineering buildings, and Fitzwillard is strangely that hybrid building that's half brick and half steel and partly glass, which merges that architecture of Hunt Library pretty seamlessly into the solid brick engineering buildings that are keeping with NC State's theme behind it. Fitzwillard felt like it was the gateway that kind of opened that window into what we're doing.
Open spaces, large windows, and classrooms and labs that encourage engagement are just some of the ways collaboration was a central motivating factor in the design of Fitzwillard Hall. Engineering on display was also used as a central theme. This means some pieces of the structure and internal systems have been left exposed, so even the building itself is a teaching tool, showing to visitors that engineering is truly all around us.
It's not like science or engineering studies that people can't attain or they can't see. In fact, you're able to see it and know what it's about. It's not a secret anymore. It's really open to the public and allow people to see what we are doing.
When we were in the old building, the biomechanics labs was located in a room without any window. So I have never had a student who stopped by my office asking me about my lab. So once we moved to this new building, I already have students from different departments stopping by my office and asking me what am I doing with all those fancy equipment in the lab. It's just because they stop by the lab and with the big windows, they can see we have a lot of equipment in the lab. And they're wondering what are those equipment for. And sometimes they can even bring some research ideas, integrating their own research experience with what we are doing here.
That message is important to our undergrads and any students that come here, is that engineering isn't meant to be a black box. It's supposed to be intuitive and explained well to people, and being able to see it kind of helps enforce that idea, I think. And Fitzwillard starts off that message.
Our engineering graduates are some of the most sought after by large technology companies. With many of these companies moving to the Triangle, such as Apple, Google, and Fujifilm Diosynth, North Carolina State Legislature kicked off an initiative in 2021 called Engineering NC's Future to strengthen our graduates' experiences and the state's economy. Over the next 5 years, we plan to enroll about 4,000 more students in engineering and computer science. To support the growing student body, the legislature is investing in the college to upgrade facilities and hire additional world-class faculty and staff.
Education in engineering computer science is a continuous challenge to be able not just to bring to them the knowledge that exists, but the knowledge that is evolving just throughout these years. What Fitzwillard Hall does is it provides a very flexible environment. Fitzwillard represents, in many ways, epitomizes what an engineering facility is today and into the future.
I would say in the future, the College of Engineering is going to continue to grow. Just like Fitzwillard attracted me to come here for my grad program, I think that the College of Engineering is going to continually attract top-tier students and top-tier researchers, and just going to continuously output so many great people from the school.
Fitz Woolard Hall might be a young building, but it isn't the newest kid on Centennial Campus anymore.
The goal of the Plant Sciences Initiative is to bring new solutions to some of the biggest challenges that we have in agriculture. The Plant Sciences building will help us achieve that through our state-of-the-art facilities, which will house some of the world's most brightest and greatest minds.
And this new building that's just opened on our campus is a continuation of that theme of science on display, interacting with one another, drawing you into the building, letting you see what's going on in the building. And in this case, it's had a unique impact on our campus in providing greenhouses on the roof that are biosafety level 3 greenhouses, meaning you can work on infectious diseases and other organisms that can't be released to the environment in a way that will give our scientists a unique advantage.
This initiative started with a strategic planning exercise back in 2013, so almost 10 years ago. At that point, it was recognized that one of the things that this whole region was missing was a plant sciences initiative of this type to fit in with the ecosystem that already exists here of the incredible diverse agriculture that we have across the state, of the agribusiness that we have in the state, and the great science and technology development that was going on here at NC State. We will have industry partners actually in the building with us. We have a number of companies that we know will take space inside the building.
The public-private partnerships that are so critical to bring a workforce to our campus that interacts with our faculty and our students. And that vision continues to be a bold statement for NC State's commitment to the economy and economic development. And you know, the benefit to us is it provides tremendous opportunities for our students and our alumni to work for these companies that call NC State Centennial Campus home.
The Plant Sciences Building opened in April 2022, and community members had the chance to explore classrooms, labs, and greenhouses, as well as graduate and corporate partner workspaces. Much like Fitz Woolard Hall, the design aims to make the science and advancement happening inside accessible to other disciplines and even the public.
It's got an education wing on the ground floor for visitors to engage in not only what's going on in the building, but really learning about NC agriculture across the whole state. It's got a demonstration lab at the main lobby, so the visitors have an opportunity to really see inside what's going on outside. Yeah. And then there's even test plots, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, even the landscape continues that theme of allowing the scientists to demonstrate through test plots the current varieties they're working on, some of the issues they're trying to address inside the building. So you can imagine new varieties of sweet potatoes being tested in the plants, or cotton, or peanuts, or any number of the many crops that our scientists work on.
There is perfect alignment with the mission that the NC PSI has and the mission that NC State has as a land-grant university, both in terms of research, which obviously will be a big focus for what we'll be doing here in terms of education, particularly in the areas of workforce development, but also what we want to see is outreach. We want the science here to be translated into real products and approaches and services that farmers can adopt in the field. We believe that the Plant Sciences Initiative and the science that will come out of this building will have a profound effect on the rural communities in our state, those where agriculture is really happening.
The Plant Sciences Building and Initiative has been funded by a variety of donors, from Friends of the University to industry partners to the North Carolina General Assembly.
The building is just the first part of what we're looking to fund here. Of course, now we move to the programmatic aspects of what will happen inside the building with the science, with the education, with the outreach activities. I think PSI has already made an impact. In fact, even before we've opened our doors, we've raised over $100 million in competitive grant funding. I think also we're getting a lot of attention from universities, from academic institutions, and from industry who are intrigued by what we're trying to do here and looking to work with us for the future. So I think we've just started.
From libraries to engineering to the future of agriculture, good design helps us solve the world's biggest problems right here on our Raleigh campus. These structures are more than just buildings. They are kindling for the embers of curiosity and ingenuity, setting the stage for the success of our faculty and students, and ultimately, our state.